Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tony Talks, where I have and Get Up and Grow, where I have conversations with inspirational leaders, influencers, and change makers. People that aren't just doing well in life, but they're doing good in the world by giving back and contributing back to society by helping other people in their life, in their relationships, in their business, and really sharing what they've learned in order to be able to make this world a better place. And today I have the privilege of having another dear friend of mine come back. It's his third time, I believe, maybe even fourth time making an appearance. He is a fellow Tony Robbins trainer, senior trainer, I may add. He is a life and business strategist. He's a speaker. He's a mentor. He's a coach. He's a friend and husband and father and so much more. Somebody that I love dearly. It's my brother from another mother. It's Charles, also known as Chuck Hogan. What's up, brother?
How are you, my friend? Hey, my friend, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Great to see you. Great to have you on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, bro. Pleasure.
Yeah, no, listen, I appreciate, I appreciate everybody taking the time to come on the show, especially when they come on more than once. And I know you were busy today. So that's why we got started a little bit later today. We got started at 7 o'clock instead of 6. I just want to remind everyone that this is a conversation not just with Chuck and myself, but it's a conversation with all of you. And so I encourage you to ask questions, make comments, and interact with us, because certainly the show is that much more exciting when that happens. And we are streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube. So I would just ask that you share this video and invite your friends. So William Pasquale chimes in first and says, two awesome gents. Thanks, William. Appreciate that, my friend. So tell us, Chuck, what has been going on? Hold on. Somebody wants to say hello. Come say hello. Hold on. There's an appearance.
Hey, my brother. How are you, Nick?
Good. All right.
All right. We're live. Yeah. I didn't realize we were live.
So life's been amazing, man. And, it's been interesting, Tony, because you and I have had a lot of conversations about where the world is right now and what's going on. And I got to tell you, it's exciting times. It's one of those things where we've chatted with a lot of folks, and it seems that for some, they've been, I don't want to call it peril. I'll just say they've been dealing with a level of discomfort and uncertainty that arguably they've never had to deal with before. And that has been very sobering for some folks. They've been figuring out that they have a different level of resourcefulness than where they may have been living in the past. And one of the privileges has been to be able to really have just this deep conversation with people. And it's not just about things and stuff. It's really about where they're living. And because they've been given this opportunity to slow down a little, because they're not quite as frenetic, although I don't know about you, but slowing down has not been on my dance card. I've been looking for that opening, and so far it hasn't availed itself. But what I will say is this: in those moments when they've been able to slow down and breathe, they've been asking themselves, is the rat race really been worth it? Has, like, all the things and stuff, has been in pursuit of keeping up with the Joneses really been inadvertently the moniker of their life? And I was like, wow, that's really deep. Because for many folks, myself included in the past, I was always about this science of success. Like, oh, I want to learn from the best, from Tony Robbins, from Joseph McClendon, from Sean Callagy, from Jason Cisneros, from you, from this whole litany of people. It's like, oh my gosh, there's all these mentors and they're great. In fact, between you and I and the fence post, they don't even know they're my mentors, but they are. And so that's even the better part, because I'm like getting free coaching. Yes. So it's been interesting because it's all these little idiosyncrasies. And the one thing that kept coming back was authenticity. And so for the last several months for myself, it's really been about getting really raw and real about where I've been playing in my own life. Because you know me very well. You're my brother from another. And one of the reasons why we resonate so clearly with one another is because we have extremely high standards and we don't make excuses. It's like we blame effectively, and we've learned a lot of life lessons. And I'll speak for myself. I mean, I've got a PhD in screwing up. And that's not going to go away, because I'm not willing to stop the push. I'm not willing to stop that growth. It's something that's incessant in me, and I love it. it's come at a cost in some ways. My sanity at times, and
my sanity at times,
and the humility of it all too, because it's like the willingness to say the lessons were worth it. They were worth it. I don't look back now and go, oh, stupid, stupid, stupid. I go, ooh, okay. What did I come away with from this? Because everything has a learning moment. Everything has learning possibilities, as long as you're not judging yourself. That doesn't mean we placate holding a lower standard, or that we just go ahead and go, all right, I did the best that I could. It's more so saying, hey, I have these really high standards and I'm going to continue to strive for them. But anytime I'm making progress or I'm moving in the right direction, I'm taking that path and I'm getting closer. And it's like, can I taste a little bit more? Can I smell a little bit more? Can I touch a little bit more? It's like just a tad, just a skosh. It's like, okay, cool.
Right? It's a new depth. It's depth of listening, depth of learning, depth of appreciation for the things that are no longer in our lives, and hopefully depth of appreciation of things that are in our lives. By the way, there's a whole bunch of people on here saying hello. I just want to acknowledge hello. William Pasquale has asked, Chuck, why are you so awesome? That's a great question that we can dive into a little bit. But the most interesting one of all has been I don't know if you know this guy, but Brian says,
do I even want to know?
No, look at the screen. I posted it. He says hello.
Okay.
Read it. He says, what's up, fuckers? Anyway, he laughed. So, well, hello.
With friends like you. No, it's like, oh man, that's hilarious.
No, but the reality of it is, it's great. It was actually a great reminder because we all have to laugh, right? We all have to laugh. And Sonia says that she feels far from slowed down too. It's been a great time of learning, growth, and change. The one thing that they're calling it the great slowdown. And granted, many of us, including Sonia, you, myself, and Brian, I know and I'm sure a lot of other people on here as well, have been really busier than ever, or to use Justin's adjustment that he gave, Justin White adjustment. He says, Tony, you're not busy. You're blessed with opportunity, which I love that adjustment. And it is true. We're blessed with opportunity. And with that said, it really still has been a great slowdown, because while we have been blessed with opportunity, we're able to do it from home. We've been doing a lot more from home than we have before. So there's more opportunity to stay around and be around those that you love, and hopefully have more of an impact at a deeper level, rather than, because if you've got 10 meetings and they're all phone calls for half hour, an hour, or whatever, you could probably field 10 calls. If you had 10 in-person meetings, you'd have to do those over 2 days, maybe 3.
Exactly. Well, and there's something to be said about, we've heard the term a lot before, proximity is power. And this proximity to being at home base, even for people who work arguably out of their own homes, I home office, I have for years, in fact, for the better part of 30 years. But what's interesting about that as well is that there's a different level of engagement now that is occurring. In the past, you could just, if need be, and you felt like you need the interaction or the socialization, you could just go out and call on someone and go have lunch with them, or a breakfast meeting, or. That quelling of that energetic interaction has arguably created this opportunity for people to become much more creative in their own space, where online, on Zoom, on video conferences, on Google Hangouts, whatever the case might be. And there are some folks who are really uncomfortable online. There are some folks that they're like, going, I can talk to anyone in person, but staring at this little freaking dot to the left of my screen drives me insane. And it's like, going, okay, why? And they said, I guess because I don't like being alone with myself for that long. And I was like, God, isn't that interesting? Wow. And they go, yeah, it was a realization that came up. I'm not used to feeling this way. Thank you for feeding into my phobia, Chuck. And it was like, God, whoa. No. We can't see worse than it is or better than it is. It's just that times are different. And you and I had this chat the other day about, I keep getting this, incessant Question, Chuck, what's the new normal? And I'm like, there isn't one. Those pages haven't been written yet. In fact, progress and development is ongoing. In fact, I don't say that we're all indulged in change work. We're in life enhancement opportunities. That's what we're engaged with, because no one's broken. So this is just an opportunity to find more unique ways to really get creative. And I'm going to actually draw back from some old cliches and go, we don't have to dig deep. What we need to do is trust and allow ourselves to be in that creative flow of coming up with some very unique answers and opportunities, or exercising some very simple techniques to actually create re-engagement with people, so that way they actually know that there's a loving, caring soul on the other side of that conversation that doesn't have an ulterior motive just to go ahead and get capital from them or things and stuff from them, but they genuinely are giving a gift of loving presence in that moment, 100% unadulterated, and not asking for anything in return. And they go, well, you can't eat that, you can't spend that. And I go, I disagree. I absolutely disagree. Right now, the world's looking for monetization, and it's looking to how to create more capitalism, how to create more consumption. This is going to be a little controversial when I say this, but I'm going to put it out there anyway. We have an opportunity to be creators again, and not just consumption hoarders, if you will. We have gotten really, really good at consuming goods and services. And for many people, they're offering services. But arguably, if we start looking at the goods that are created, I go, well, what if the goods didn't have to be physical? Heart, happiness gets a bad rap sometimes. People go, oh, you're the happiness guy. Oh, you're always smiling. You know, you really piss me off when you're on stage because you always have this like really wide grin. And I go, I'm sorry. And then I just smile even wider. And they go, where does that come from? And I said, what, feeling good? And sharing that energy? They go, you can't be that damn happy all the time. I said, I have my moments when I'm not exactly Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky. I'm a human being, not a human doing. And if I get to choose the state I want to live in, I'll borrow a line from, you know, one of our esteemed mentors, Mr. Tony Robbins, and I'll say, I prefer living in a beautiful state. I have a need to live a life of love, laughter, and happiness. Sorry, but not sorry.
I love it. No, you're absolutely right. You know, I think that we have a choice. We all make a choice whether we're going to, you know, one of my favorite memes that I post every so often on social media is there's two men on a train, cartoon. You've seen this for sure, and they're in a train car. They're going around a mountain, and one guy's looking at the dark side of the mountain, frowned and upset. The other guy's looking out the window at the beautiful scenery and smiling. Right? I mean, how great an example of you get what you focus on, and you get to choose whether you're going to look at the dark side of the mountain and with nothing to see and focus on the lack, or you can just turn around and focus on the beauty and what's good and opportunity and what's there. Look for the good in people, not just the bad. Look for, you know, as Mr. Rogers said his mother taught him when he was growing up, even when you're looking in crisis, you're looking at some bad stuff happening, you're looking at these riots, you're looking at the looters and everything else, look for the helpers, look for the people that are standing in front of the plain glass windows trying to stop them. Look for the people that are trying to be peaceful and talk reason. In any crisis, you can find that. So it's whatever you choose to look at. And to your point, and then I'll put down the mic again. You know, what you said about smiling and everything else reminds me, I posted this a few days ago. It's a quote by Zig Ziglar. Among the things you can give and still keep are your word, your smile, and a grateful heart. Yes. You know, so it's important to remember that when you're communicating with people, certainly when you're communicating with your friends or people you love and respect, you know, speak from the heart, right? Speak from the heart and your heart, and they'll listen from their heart. If you speak from your head, then it goes to their head. So, you know, with that said, just Carry on, man. I just wanted to.
No. I love it, Tony, and I completely agree with everything you're saying. It was one of the most effective things that I've heard, and it's something that really has stuck with me. Is I have really become. I want to pick the proper words here. I had become a little neutral, if you will, when it comes to people just giving, I'll say, open or kind of fluffy compliments. And it's not a criticism, because that's someone expressing their feeling about you, to you, towards you. But one of the things that I've asked my children to do is that when someone's paying them a compliment, and if they go, "Oh, you're awesome," is to actually ask for clarification. Oftentimes we hear these open kind of compliments, and it's like, "Oh, you're awesome, you're great, you're cool, I love your energy." Great. What specifically about my energy? I'm awesome. How specifically do you feel I'm awesome? Because wouldn't you want to know what it is specifically that they're connecting to with you, that you could actually be that way even more often? If you're already doing it with integrity and it's an unconscious confidence that you already possess, why wouldn't you want to even live in that space even more? It's already a natural part of who you are. It is your true authentic self. And that specificity is so guiding, especially for young souls in this day and age. You'll hear people go, "Oh, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous." Like, how specifically? Well, not only are you physically attractive, but your heart, your soul, your energy, just how you show up, the way that you laugh. I love looking in your eyes and just seeing that gaze. I love being able to just feel that energy in you. And it's like that specificity goes a long way. Because there are so many things now. It's like a Pez dispenser. People are just like flinging out candy corn. "I love you," and it says, "Let's just fling this everywhere and see how much of it sticks." And you're like going, "Okay." Specifically, how? Like, what is it that you love about me? What is it that you acknowledge? And going deeper and having that motive and that intention of serving, it's much like what you were saying, Tony. Where's your, which wolf are you going to feed? Because the one that's going to take over is the one that you feed the most. And right now, I feel for people, because this situation, especially socioeconomically for some folks, but also emotional fitness, arguably, this COVID-15 that they're talking about, is the drug, it's called COVID-19. Well, the average weight that people are putting on is about 15 pounds, because some people they've not been able to find that space. They're like, going, "Oh, I can't go to the gym." And so they're like going, "Okay, can you walk? Can you lie on the floor and do this thing called a crunch? Can you lift your own body weight with your legs apart and do?" Yeah, so, well, that's called the queso crunch.
Yeah.
And
listen, it's a real challenge, man. It's a real challenge. There's a lot of people struggling with that, because there's a lot of people that are afraid. Listen, you know where I live. You've seen, well, actually, you've never been here, actually, but we're going to fix that soon. But certainly you've seen pictures of where
I've had the virtual tour, baby. I feel like I've been on Zillow. So it's like.
But it's funny. Sometimes you see people walking around outside with masks. There's a lot of people that are still in a lot of fear. And one thing that I would just hope, I hope at some point everybody says that they just want them to come out with some kind of medication or treatment or vaccine or something. I just hope they come out with the truth and actually stop scaring the hell out of people with different stories every other day.
Right.
Yeah.
There's still no cure for the common cold. Although let me rephrase that. If your immune system is strong, there is. It's called that you don't get sick because your body's in health and balance. I just was watching last night, ironically, there was a Harvard graduate, a doctor and an internist, and he heads up this guy in gastrointestinal health. And he said, only 1 out of 9 Americans actually has a healthy gut biome. And I was like, isn't that interesting? So what does that mean? He said, heart disease, blood pressure, dietary inflammation, all these different things. He said the diet 50 years ago, we didn't have the level of disease that we're experiencing now. And it had a lot to do with GMO and foods and yada, 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 yada. And this all came back to full circle. They're saying, so with COVID, what's really the situation? And this is a gift from my childhood that I remember as a youngster visiting Japan. And my mom was Japanese and my dad, who's Irish. We grew up with this very diverse cultural influence. Mom was always trying to put natural things in us, and dad's like going, whiskey cures everything. And so be that as it may. Interestingly enough, in Japan, if you have a cough or a cold, you wear a mask. Now, here's the concept behind it. It's because you love everyone around you that you're wearing the mask, because it's not for you, it's for everyone else. And so it really, when we start talking about motive and intention, and I'm not saying that if you're outside, I go running in the morning, I do it 5 miles a day, I'm not wearing a mask. I go to the grocery store, I wear a mask. I go to get my hair cut, I wear a mask. Why? Because those close proximity areas, when I'm out running, I can easily stay 40 feet away from anybody. That's like not even an issue. I'm not running next to anyone on the bike path. I will go across the other side of the street. I'll do whatever I need to do to take care of my health and vitality and exercise self-care, and also be courteous enough. Because if we're looking at levels of relationship, if it's good for me and it's good for another person and everybody else, well, isn't that what we're all aspiring for in a beautiful state, is to live at the highest level? So I go, okay, if I'm in a grocery store and you're shopping for produce and I'm shopping for produce, the least I can do is be a responsible human being, do what's good for me, what's good for you, and what's good for everyone else that I may be, affiliated to within that space for that period of time. And ultimately, it's not living in fear. Part of it has to do, Tony, to your point, is what's the motive and intention behind it? And we've chatted about this a little bit, and I'm just going to go a little deeper, because I've had so many experiences lately where people go, oh, Chuck, but I'm doing my best. I am, man. I'm pushing it. I'm scheduling stuff. I said, that's great. And do you feel like you're being your best? And they go, no. I said, isn't it interesting that when you're doing your best, you may not be being your best, but if you're being your best, you'll always do your best. I really do believe that when you're being your true authentic self and you really are engaged with you and you love, honor, and appreciate who you are as a man, a woman, husband, wife, child, adult, friend, family, coworker, whatever the case might be, but you're owning you, it is such a blessing to see how heartfelt, how that content of character, that you're doing the right thing regardless of anyone who might be looking. Because at the end of the day, you're being true to yourself. And the actions that you're taking are congruent with that. Now, did it turn out to be the absolute grand slam that you were looking for? Maybe, maybe not. But if you're heading in the right direction, we don't always have to keep manifesting over things and stuff that I see so many people with their RPMs and their programs, and they're manifested over goals. What's the goal? How do I get there? What do I have to do in order to get there? What's the mammoth action? I go, what direction you want to go in? Were you in the right state when you even created those goals, when you created those outcomes? It's like, oh, because having just a wish list of wants is not addressing your needs. Well, and it's so imperative.
Yeah, when you create those RPMs, they've got to be coming from the heart, not just from the head. Back to that what I said before. Because if it's just intellectual wants, you got to get the needs, and the needs are from the heart, right? The wants are from
absolutely. Well, that little mind is a powerful, persistent guardian. We'll put it that way. That 10 million year old brain that is trying to make sure that you're not in harm's way, right? And especially it's like, oh crap, okay, well, they're wearing masks over here. Wait, they're riding over here. Oh, they're doing COVID testing over here. Oh my gosh, I still need to go to the store and pick up, zucchini for the vegetables I'm making for tonight. Wait, whoa. Okay, so let's boilerplate this down. They're great people. You're great people. You're going to be responsible. They're going to go ahead and be responsible to themselves, whatever that looks like for them. At the end of the day, you're going to go in, take care of what you need to take care of, be confident in yourself, love, light, and happiness. And they go, wait, Chuck, you're going to the store. I said, yeah, what better place to just be your amazing, authentic self? So that way, when you're actually picking things that are for your health and nutrition, that you're actually in a beautiful state that actually feeds that. So that way the Twinkies don't start talking to you or the Ho-Hos or the Oreo cookies. And they go, hey, what's wrong with the Oreos? Nothing, double stuff. There's nothing wrong with your Oreos whatsoever, except that right now you probably don't need added sugar in your diet. You know, someone asked me what's the biggest evil in the world right now, and I said, sugar. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's even in my freaking sriracha sauce.
Sugar and everything.
Oh, killed me, man. Now I'm a Cholula fan. So it's one of those things, you got to do what you got to do to feed yourself. And part of that is, it is the mental acumen. It's exercising your mind. And so if you can take 30 minutes a day, and I'm going to make it real easy. I actually call it 30, 30, 30. 30 minutes of exercise, moving your body in an energetic, loving, caring way. If that means you're on a rebounder, watching comedy sketches with Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock or, you know, whomever your favorite comedian might be, laugh your posterior off while moving your body, or turn on amazing music and dance on a rebounder. So you're lymphocyzing your body. If you're like going, oh, Chuck, you know, here it's like 97 degrees today. Actually, my car said it was 99 earlier today. Wow. And I was like, ooh, I was going to go. I went running this morning because if I was running tonight, I'd be a gelatinous pool. And it's one of those deals where I'm like going, okay, that'd be great to sweat. And I don't want to go third and a half mile and be passed out on the runway, on the bike path. So what I would say to people is, let's be responsible so that way you can work out. It doesn't mean killing yourself in the process. Self-care is not selfish. And it doesn't also mean being a martyr to your physicality.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So feed your physical body.
Doesn't mean you work out to the point that you're hurting yourself. That's not self-care.
It's not. If you're spending more time in recovery than you are actually celebrating the fact that you're actually moving towards health and vitality.
Listen, that's why I don't run. That's why I don't run, because if I can run, but then the next day I'm going to have a hard time walking. So I tell people, you know, I said, if you see me running, you should run too, because something's chasing me. So if you see me running, there's a reason. And it's not because I'm exercising.
I understand. So 30 minutes of physical engagement, 30 minutes of non-fictional input, something that motivates you. If it's YouTube, if it's a podcast, if it's your favorite speaker, if it's an Audible book, if it's actually, again, watching a video that's just inspirational to you, something that's going to feed your mind. Right now, between TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it is dumbfounding how much input there is. And it's great if it's like a Facebook Live where you're inspired because you're feeling great and you're resonating with people. By comparison to watching, it's like, okay, that's awesome. Apparently you've seen I've watched too much TikTok, because if I know how to do that, then there's a problem. And so
you're not burning any calories by seeing somebody else dance. I'm just saying.
Now, if you're going to make that your TikTok tutorial and you're doing 30 minutes of body movement, then you're serving yourself at a higher level. The last one, though, is probably even the most important, Tony, and that is spiritual. If it's meditation, the Ho'oponopono, if it is just gratitude, if it's prayer, taking time to allow your body to heal, your soul, to acknowledge gratitude, an attitude of gratitude, the appreciative eye. It is so powerful and so necessary right now. You know, the age-old adage of someone's going, is a glass half full or half empty? And someone goes, oh, it's half full. And it's like, that's great. So what if the glass is completely full? What if there's no room to add more beautiful things and experiences because we're living in the past and we're just remembering things that have happened? So we're driving around looking in the rearview mirror. What if we can actually let go? What if freedom is actually just the release of fear? And everything that you want is actually, and we've heard this many times before from Mr. Robbins and many other souls as well, but everything you want is on the other side of fear.
It's release of fear. It's release of anger. It's release of anxiety. It's release of guilt. It's release of resentment. It's courage. One of the things I've been talking about a lot lately is courage, and it takes courage to do that. It takes courage to step outside of your comfort zone. It takes courage to forgive. It takes courage to accept. It takes courage to apologize. It takes courage to love. Sometimes it takes courage to be loved, because it takes courage to love yourself. It takes courage to let go. It takes courage to hang on. It takes courage. It takes courage to do so many things in life, and people take that for granted. But yeah, that's how you find happiness, right? Is just by, sometimes we're desperately so trying to hang on to things when what we're supposed to do is let go. That's why it's so hard to hang on to. Yeah. Sometimes the thing that you're hanging on to the most is the thing that you're supposed to let go in order for you to really be happy. You think you're hanging on to happiness. You're hanging on to the idea of what happiness is. Happiness is letting go and not feeling the pain and allowing. Sometimes it's allowing that cup to tip over and empty out so that you can fill it up again.
Listen, I've never heard of anyone going, oh yeah, let me go ahead and take a half empty vacuum bag and that's what I'll put in my vacuum because I only need half the suction necessary to clean up this mess. I'm like going, no, you need to empty the bag. It's not about holding on. It's not about, but there's a fear factor. And one of the things that, at least in my life, I've found is that courage comes a lot from faith. There's a reason why the term is called a leap of faith.
Right.
The first step. And it does take an era of vulnerability. And that was just a reminder for myself. Sometimes you just got to remember to breathe and just be in the moment, not manifest of, well, what could go wrong? And they go, well, Chuck, great business people, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for what could go wrong, what could go sideways. I'm going, actually, great business people are in the moment. And although they may feel, they're about creating value.
Yeah.
Not about the value tomorrow, the value right now. The moment, the interaction that is availing itself right in front of you and being fully present. Maya Angelou had it right. People will forget what you had to say. They will forget even what you did. They will always remember how you made them feel. And arguably now on video and interactive with all the AV that we're using now, people go, oh, but I've got a lot to say. It's like going, yeah, but people don't care what you have to say until they know how much you care. If they think that you're being self-serving, their belief is that you're doing this, you're pandering, or you're not really in service, but you just love hearing the sound of your own voice, then you might as well be talking to the mirror. And that's cool. Love on you. I don't have a problem with that. You do you, boo-boo. You need to love and listen to yourself as well. And when the person that you're looking at and you stare into those eyes and you actually feel a sense of connection and appreciation and genuine love, wow. Because that feels a whole lot different than trying to impress someone else with your linguistics. Heart and energy have no boundaries. It's one of the reasons why, Tony, I believe that you connect with people at a very deep level. And I want to go on record while all these folks are watching and just say, I love you, man. You are an amazing human being. I appreciate who you are and for living unapologetically. That's really rare. And the world needs more of it. There are too many people that are living in the world of yes right now. There are too many people living in the world of let's go ahead and just make everyone a kumbaya moment. And I am definitely for world peace.
Yeah.
As a Japanese Irish guy married to a Nicaraguan, I can tell you that we're not short on culture in my household. But what I love about it is that it's such a beautiful melting pot of cultures. And it's kind of like what Sean Callaghan talks about with blending ecologies. And I go, well, geez, we're taking the ecology, the culture, the lifestyle, all of the good, the bad and the ugly, and mixing it all together. And what an amazing experience. Because it's not short on drama. It's not short on experience. It's not short on options and opportunity. Right. It's definitely not short on conversation. That's for darn sure.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world, man. I really wouldn't.
Beautiful.
You know, these times.
It
is.
Beautiful. And by the way, I will say I love you too, man. I appreciate you and how you show up in the world. You got a huge heart. So listen, that's why we're connected, and that's why we're doing things together, right? We're doing things to help other people and to change the world, man. Even if it's just one person, one family, one business at a time. You know, because that's how you make change. Everybody wants to make change all at once. I've said it a bunch of times already on here and everything else. But change sometimes you have to start small. You can't expect to take over the world in one fell swoop, right? Or not take over the world, you know what I mean? Change the world. You do it with small increments by changing, you know, one mind, one heart, one soul at a time. You know, and it becomes exponential. It's that pebble. You know, that wave didn't start off as one giant wave in the middle of the ocean. There was a ripple somewhere. There was something somewhere. There was a groundswell. You know, as Scott Martin says, you know, there's a groundswell. There's a little vibration in the middle of the ocean or somewhere that creates a vibration that creates these little ripples, and the ripples become bigger and bigger. They become waves and bigger. And before you know it, the waves of change or the tsunami of change is coming your way. But it starts with that tremor, and that tremor is the tremor of change usually scares the shit out of people, right? Because nobody likes to see things shake because they're afraid it's going to break. But sometimes you need to have that tremor. You need to have that trouble. You need to have that disruption in order to create that ripple that'll become that wave, that'll become that change.
There was a and I hope I'm getting this correctly, if memory serves correctly. Mr. Robbins talked about Prigogine. I don't know if you remember, Nobel Peace Prize winning scientist, and he talked about cells, and that when cells, living organisms, are put under enough pressure, they really only have one of two options. They're either going to go ahead and resonate and shake, just as you were mentioning, that kind of quantum shift of change, and they get under enough pressure where they start to shake. So they have one of two options. Either they're going to go ahead and break apart, and they become a completely new molecular composition, where now they have adjusted, morphed, and they're a whole new entity. They've actually progressed. They have adapted.
Adapted, right?
Or they get under so much duress and stress and pressure that they can't change, and they perish. Arguably, right now in life, there are a lot of people, Tony, who are trying to seek options, and for the first time in a very long time, they're feeling very scared. We have institutions, businesses, family and public, that arguably have been in business for over 100 years, and they, in the span of a couple short months, will no longer exist on this planet. And they're like, what? How did this happen? And they go, oh, it was the perfect storm between COVID and then social distancing. It's like, well, no, because there are other businesses that are completely thriving and finding new ways and new opportunities. And so right now, compelling future has been one of the most challenging facets of trying to create that understanding for people, that, because arguably some people could say, well, life really seems to be happening to me and not so much for me. And it's like, well, part of it's perspective and optics. The other part is that, where are you living? Are you pivoting? Are you stagnant? Are you holding firm? Are you in a survival mode or in a thrive mode? Because survival looks like a squirrel hoarding nuts for the cold season. People that, when it's 99 degrees outside, are going, it's winter. And not judging. It's the psychological, it's that emotional fitness that some people are lacking right now. And they're looking for collaboration. They're looking for some way, some space to find. They're like, oh, I need someone to turn my business around. No, you need to turn you around so that way your business can actually have a fighting chance. It's not the business that is in dire straits, it's the leadership. Because we know that the person with the most flexibility and certainty wins. Well, if you're at the head of a ship and you're not exercising much certainty, and you're definitely not exercising much flexibility, because you'll go, just keep plowing ahead, just, full steam, just send that sucker straight forward. And you're like going, okay, wow, HMS Titanic, really, that's what we're gonna do, right? We're just gonna, we're strong enough, we can just plow over the competition, we can just take anybody out. And it's like going, huh.
Listen, Charles Darwin says that it is not the smartest or the strongest of us that will survive. It is those of us who are most adaptable to change.
Yes.
I may have butchered that a little bit, but that's pretty much what the saying goes. So you've got to be able to adapt. One of the things I love to tell people, and, make your goal, make your destination certain, but make your journey and the course you take flexible. You've got to be flexible in your approach and steadfast in what your goal is. Because if you're inflexible in your approach, you get to a wall, but if this is the way you got to go, you're going to break your head trying to break through that wall. Sometimes you got to take the detour. And it's in the detour that your business grows. It's in the detour that you learn, that you grow, that you make a difference. So
yes,
success is not, as the saying goes, success is not linear. It doesn't go, like this. Nobody's an overnight success. Most people are a 10 or 20-year overnight success. Success usually looks like this, because they're going all over the place trying to find their north, and then they finally succeed. But it doesn't come without detours. It doesn't come without flexibility. Those who are unwilling to be flexible, it's like that molecule. It will die, right? It will no longer exist. Your business, your relationship, whatever it is, will end if you're not flexible in your approach.
As the saying goes, your life is the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty that you can comfortably live with.
Yeah.
And I would say that some people's thresholds have been pushed way beyond their comfort level, to the point now where they're going, okay, the elephant's in the room. It's like, okay, what are we gonna do with it? You still got to eat it. But arguably, you're not a megalodon. You're not going to eat this thing in one bite. So we need to be strategic. I cannot take a raging river and redirect it by just throwing boulders in the center of it. Those boulders will get carried downstream.
That's it.
But if I start lining up on the banks of the river, where I can start to help control the path, where I can create little eddies or wading pools, where I can actually slow the movement. It may be faster on one side, but slow it on the other side. Increase sales, diminish spending. Strategic processing, integration, new technology, augmented reality, virtual reality, back-end processes, forward-end processes, e-commerce. Oh, we've never done anything but a physical invoice. Okay. You've never heard of Amazon. Okay.
And dinosaurs, you used to roam the earth, right?
Well, I'm asking them, I'm like, wow, really? So how is that iPhone 5? Does it work?
You don't have the iPhone, it's a flip phone. Sorry.
It would make this video conferencing very difficult.
Yeah.
But my point of being is that we have selective amnesia. We'll go ahead and update and they go, oh, I can't wait. iPhone 12 coming out in September. It's like, oh, okay. And wait, but you're okay with processing things, and you said you want me to send my PO in by fax. I'll go you one better.
Fax number a few days ago. I'm like, what? Like
I was like, don't worry. I know this guy Tony. He has carrier pigeons. So or we'll strap it to a chicken. You'll get these amazing eggs as well. So I love you, brother. No, but the whole deal is that there's this concept where when it's uncomfortable, people will start to fall back on their history and they go, oh, we've been doing this for 3 generations. I'm like, that's great that you have lineage, that you have history, that you have a legacy. But you didn't make it 3 generations by not innovating. You created insane levels of value. Somewhere this like fell out of your medulla oblongata. It's not functioning. What happened where we started to forget? Well, I'm concerned right now because I'm seeing a lot in the world of business, and this door swings both ways. We've never seen more businesses for sale that are in the black, that are profitable, but have no succession planning. And on the other side, we're starting to see this kind of falling off in mentorship, where people want process. They're hiring on pedigree and lineage. And God bless you that you went to the Wharton School of Business and you got your MBA from MIT or from Harvard or Yale or Cornell or Columbus, or I could name a million of amazing universities. And how much field experience do you have? Who did you mentor under? Did you intern with any companies? Oh no. Oh, but you're a straight A student, magna cum laude. That's great. So we know you're smart. I can teach skill. I am so eager to find people that have that fire in the belly, who have the desire, that wanton desire to learn, to grow, to just prosper. Because if they're that hungry and they're that willing, oh man, what a diamond in the rough. What an opportunity. And people go, oh, you know what's going to happen, Chuck? You're going to train that soul, and he's so eager, she's so eager that she's going to go someplace else. I said, you know what? That's a possibility. But here's what I know. If I honor them, respect them, if I give them every ounce of who I am and teach them to the best of my ability, and they can sprinkle that with their own personality, their own, their own augmentations, that spice of life that's uniquely them, their true authenticity, and they're respected and they're paid well, they may just stay.
Yeah, the chances
because
are
now,
chances are,
because now they're going to be a partner.
Yeah.
But if we go, I gave them everything, and now I'm being selfish because I want to hoard, because I invested in them. I said, an investment yields you dividends. It doesn't yield you just unmitigated wealth.
Yeah.
Every now and then you will find, and you will be the purveyor of, mammoth income. But I said, if you're making on average a rate of return on your investments of 20 or 30% a year, you'd be elated on average. If you were making 20 or 30% off of someone and they're making 80% and you're paying them unbelievably well, isn't that a great investment? I don't know. Maybe it's just perspective and optics.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. I think if you take care of people, if you take care of you hire good people, you take care of them. Most people, if you're taking care of them the right way, will stay. And if not, and if you listen, leaders create leaders, right? Leaders create leaders. And if that means that they didn't stay, maybe that was their time there, right? Their time there to grow and maybe go on and be an even better leader and make more of an impact. And you've got to let people go. You got to let people grow into whoever they've got to grow into and not hold them down. But again, if you give people what it is, you give them the appreciation. Most people don't leave just because of the money. They leave. Right. I mean, if it's a substantial amount of money, then obviously it's money. But most people leave. Sometimes they leave jobs to take a job that's paying less than what they're making, or the same.
Absolutely.
Why do they leave? They left because they're underappreciated. They left because they're not being taken care of. They left because they don't feel like they're part of the team. Because everybody says, they have employees, maybe change the terminology. And everybody that works at your company is part of your team. Mm-hmm. If you're an employer and you're making money hand over fist, God bless you. And you didn't do it alone. You're not self-made. Everyone that's ever worked for you has helped make you and help move you along. And all the people that you've worked with and for and learned from and helped you get ahead. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tony, to your point, it's like one of those deals. If someone said, "Hey, Tony, I'm going to give you $1 million a year, but here's the contract." Yeah, you're like, done. So, but here's the contract. You're not going to be happy, and you're going to be dying a little each and every day.
You can keep it.
But that's the ticket. So, but when someone says, I'd like to pay you handsomely and love to make sure that you're happy, that we're going to check in often, and that you're living your life's purpose, that you can actually grow and thrive here, that we're going to set this amazing frame of standards, but within that frame, we want you do you. You just bring that essence that is uniquely you. We welcome your input. We welcome your feed forward. We welcome your unique gifts and talents. It's like, dang, no, this sounds too good to be true. It's like, well, there are a lot of businesses that are functioning that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of businesses that are living in people's gifts. And I'm not saying that we placate in that, but here's where the shift happens. And this is where, unfortunately in life, there's this interesting paradigm that occurs where when self-confidence and pride turns into hubris, turns into ego, turns into this overwhelming sense of entitlement. You know, don't you know who I am? Don't you know what I get paid? It's like, okay, that's great. And we're asking you to remember who you are at your core. They go, oh, but you know, time is my most valuable asset and you can't afford me. It's like going, okay, you're probably right then. I can't afford, there's not enough room, the space in this room for your ego and anybody else to be in here. So, I mean, it's like, you're right. Cool. Thank you. People will let you know who they are.
If you listen.
You got to listen. A leopard is still a leopard. It doesn't change its spots. And people go, well, people can change. I said, yes, people can change. A black panther is also known as a black leopard because if you get close enough to that black panther, you'll notice that it actually has spots. It's the same as a leopard. And it's a big cat and it's a predator.
Yeah, well, one of the things that I say to your point, you know, people are like, well, you know, this person, I said, listen, you can't hate it. You can't hate a zebra for having stripes, right? A zebra is not a black horse with white stripes, and it's not a white horse with black stripes. It's a freaking zebra. And here's the thing: right. Some people will tell you that they're a zebra. Stop trying to change them and make them a white horse with black stripes or a black horse with white stripes, and then get upset about it. Sometimes you just got to let the zebras be in their cage, or be out in the Serengeti and just watch them from afar and not get too close, or the black leopard, or whatever it is. The moral of this story, that I think this is where you started it, is when people tell you who they are, believe them. So many times, like, oh no, that's it. No, when
they changed.
When they tell you who they are, believe them. Right. Now, people can change.
Yes.
But you've got to do a lot of work, and you've got to be really committed to change. I will say people can change, and I will say this: most people don't because they choose not to.
And I would even argue, Tony, that it's not that it took a lot of hard work. It's actually when they decided to let go.
It's when they choose. You've got to choose.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
You got to choose. So people can make the choice, but like I said, most people choose not to. It's not that they can't change. Most people choose not to because they choose to hang on to their pain. They choose to hang on to their anger. They choose to hang on to the bullshit story as to why they're like this, or why they can't change, or why my life sucks, and why they're a victim. And please make a choice. You're either going to stay and be the victim, or you're going to rise up. You're going to get up and grow and be the victor, right?
You know, there's a lot of talks right now about mindset, and they're like, well, what's the mindset? What do I need to commit to? And I love falling back to this saying. And again, I mean, I know I'm quoting Mr. Robbins a lot, but he has been a huge influence in my life.
And mine.
And absolutely. And when he says, head dead, heart smart. And I would agree wholeheartedly, pun intended, that when you've made decisions that felt absolutely congruent with who you are, and you were in that beautiful heart space, and you were just owning it with the benefit of intellect, it was an unbelievably powerful decision. It didn't mean in spite of what you were thinking. It meant in concert or unison. So body, mind, and spirit were in alignment. It wasn't just a head decision from FOMO, you know, where people go, oh, there's a fear that I'm going to miss out. I'm going to miss out on that Bitcoin offering at $19,000. Got to get my piece because it's going to go up to 25. And it's like,
you missed out on mine at 350 though. I will say, somebody tried to get me to 350. I should have paid attention, but hey, you know.
Hey. And I know people that got in when it was 212, and it's like, but here's what happens: we can get shiny penny, and this really does ring true that in order to meet people's needs, in some instances, they'll go against their values and rules, because the concept of just being able to have this insane level of wealth or this freedom or this opportunity, and they're like going, oh my gosh, if this goes through, and I'm going, well, and if monkeys fly out of your derriere, you know, it's like, wait, what? It's like, I saw Bruce Almighty. It can happen. And so if it can happen with Jim Carrey, it can happen anywhere, you know, the magic of movies. But I bring this up because it's one of those things where there have been so many things that have been squandered. And I love guys like Keith Cunningham and even back in the day, like Chuck Millen. He said, hey, set your stop loss. You know, you sell your sell price. You don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, because it's not just once and walk away. It's, you're going to have this journey that's called life, and you don't have to just make it where you listen. I don't want to breathe once. I like to continue to breathe. So the journey, the exercise, the engagement of breathing is a beautiful thing. But people will sacrifice their needs. And arguably one, and that's the reason why divorce rates are so high and relationships are on the rocks, you need air, you need water, you need food, and you need shelter. And I'm going to argue that the fifth one that as human beings that we require is love and connection.
Absolutely.
And it's such a powerful need. And people, in order to meet their wants, their wanton desire for money, power, perceived independence, control. What is freaking control? I'm in control of everything. No, you have some influence, but I guarantee if the earth starts shaking or the volcano erupts, I don't care how much money you have, how many zeros in your bank account, you're not in control of jack squat at that moment.
Well, why do they want to be in control?
Fear. And it's like, well,
but ultimately, why do they want to be in control? Why do they want the massive success? So they can have that love and connection. It always goes back to love and connection, because if I succeed, if I'm at the top of my game, if I'm in control, then they have no choice than to love me, even if it's because they, you know, whatever it is, I'm at the top of the game. Somebody's going to love me, even if it's for my prominence, for my position, for my wealth, whatever it is, somebody's going to love me. That's why people do it. At the end of the day,
and
all of it.
We're all motivated by things and stuff, man.
Yeah.
And some of us are motivated by love, light, and happiness. I choose to believe that the world wants to be a better place, and that there is this desire to have equality amongst everyone. And we're human beings. People make mistakes. You know, someone who committed a crime when they were young, and I pray that they have another opportunity. I don't believe that anyone's broken. I do really fervently believe that people are exercising some strategies, though, that aren't as being as productive as they could be. They just have a strategy that they've exercised because at one point in time in their life, they felt that they actually got some results from it. And they believe that. So they continue to use the same strategy over and over and over again. Tell me how that Kodak camera is working for you. When we used to talk about a Kodak moment, you know, a Kodak moment. It's like, oh, they're not around anymore. It's like, wait, what? There was the Kodak Theater. There were stadiums. Gone.
Yeah.
So anything can change, and things and stuff will come and go. But love, light, and happiness is forever. Energy has no boundaries. So.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, we're coming up to the top of the hour, and obviously, like all the other times that we're on one of these. So listen, I just want to take this opportunity, to thank you, and I appreciate you for who you are and how you show up in the world. And thank everyone that's on here watching and commenting, and Casey Perry for acknowledging everyone that's watching. Thank you, Casey, for that. And I just want to extend this invitation on behalf of Chuck and myself. If you've enjoyed some of the things that we've spoken about today, we want to invite you to an experience. Chuck and I run a mastermind along with another one of our trainers as well. We run a mastermind called Your Best Life Mastermind. So I actually put the website in here. If you can go to YBLSnow.com and you can register for this free. Right now, the mastermind is being offered free. It's been free for the last 3 or 4 sessions. We have 1 or 2 more free sessions coming up. They are on Sunday at 4 o'clock. And we just want to invite you to go on and check it out. See if this, it's not really like this. It is and it isn't, right? Because we are speaking on topics, but we open the floor to different people to express their views and to work through some challenges or whatever problems that they have that they're facing. And every other week when we meet, we have a different topic of discussion, and we open the floor to work on someone's challenge, whether it be personal or business. So we invite you to check it out. Go to YBLS Now. That's Your Best Life Strategists, right? So YBLSnow.com. And you can go on there. You can register for it. Like I said, the next 2 sessions will be free, and then you'll have the opportunity to join us moving forward. So with that said, I hope everyone enjoyed this little talk that Chuck and I have had. And brother, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for always sharing your heart, gifts. And I wish we can go on for another hour, which we could easily, but then this would be a 2-hour show, and nobody would watch it. Like 2 hours, I'm not going to watch this. So we'll do this again. Definitely. Well, we're going to be doing this again on Sunday. So actually, this Sunday we have our next mastermind. Yep. That's 4 o'clock Eastern. That's 4 o'clock Eastern. Get onto the website, register, put in your web address, and it is a Zoom call at 4 o'clock Eastern. We go for 60 to 90 minutes, depending. But join us, and we'll be talking about some interesting things. And there's always a good bunch of amazing people on there as well. So we just want to extend that out to you. So join us, YBLSnow.com. Any last words?
Yeah, and go to the Facebook page. That's where we'll post all the information. We've had guest speakers, but it is the most brilliant, safe place to come and play. We wanted to cultivate an environment where like-minded, like-hearted souls. I alluded to this, and I'll wrap up with this. One of the reasons why I believe that we commune together isn't just because we're like-minded. We don't just see what the other people see. We're like-hearted. We have a heartfelt, energetic connection, and we have a deep desire to see the world be a much more beautiful place for our children and our future generations as well. And when you bring like-minded and like-hearted souls together, there is a synergy that's undeniable that creates movements. And that's what Tony and Darren and I have been committed to, is living not just any life, but your best life. And this is in direct tandem with Get Up and Grow, because you got to get up and grow. If you fall down to live your best life, you've got to, step up to the challenge. And so there's this amazing synergy that's occurred, and we just welcome you to come and join us and check it out. If you're feeling like you're looking for a place where you can call home, and we're not selling anything, we're just sharing a lot of things. And it's been just an absolute pleasure and privilege. We've been doing this now for over a year, Tony, and wow, it has been just so gratifying. But I love you, brother. Thank you, man, for having me on. God bless you all. Please stay safe and healthy and happy. Enjoy your summer. And I hope our paths get to cross again in person very soon again as well.
Absolutely. Chuck, don't go away. So everyone, again, thanks for jumping on and joining us. And if anything in this video resonated, please share this video from YouTube, from Facebook, tag your friends, and get the word out. And remember, my friends, that life is not about how many times you fall. It's about learning to get up after every fall and remembering that it's when you fall that you learn. It's when you get up that you grow. And every single time you fall, you have the opportunity to get up and grow we must. Appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao for now.